Okay guys, and welcome back to another episode of Deck Building Tips. So today we're going to be with the Norse leader Odin. So with Odin, you have your typical rush aggro deck, and you have the more mid-range way to play Odin. You can also go with a combination of the two. It really depends how you prefer to play Odin. you know, if you're really wanting to go aggro, it was a lot better before. And I feel like now you only win about 30-40%, right? So I'm just going to give you the list really fast for aggro. But, the, the, um, the point of aggro is just dealing damage every turn with your card. So you have the backstabs, you have the mayhems, Valhalla's Blessing, Valhalla's Sorcery to get more of your cards, the Warrior's Sigil to combo with the Mayhem, the Faith to deal damage, the Answers to deal damage, the Gunner's Might to deal damage, Hunter's Sigil to combo with Mayhem. Then you have the Soldier to buff your little minions. You have the Scotty because it's a really good drop, 3 mana. You have the Frenzy when you have a bunch of minions on the board, you just Frenzy and finish the game. And you have a Loki that finishes your burst, right? So this is basically like that's the point of aggro, right? You just play your stuff. You want to keep your Warrior Sigil and your Archer. What is it? Where's the Archer Sigil? Hunter's Sigil to combo with Mayhem. And they're all in the same turn, so you want to play the Valhalla's Blessing, Valhalla's Sorcery in the early game. You want to always play your Answers the first turn for damage. You have your Fate also in the early game, and your Gunner's Might, your Soldier, for example, or 3, or your Scotty on 3, and then you go with putting the Warrior Sigils and the Hunter Sigil into the Mayhems, for example. And the other turn you can like Frenzy, stuff like that. It's a little bit slow, but if you're missing like the Scotty, you can replace them for Fire Imps. Because Fire Imps really go well with Odin's ability, but it costs you being a 3/2, right? But it's gonna cost you 4 mana, so it's a little bit slow. But like I said, because of the change on the Fire Imp, because of the change that all the leaders got more health, and because of the change that we don't now have 20 cards but 25 cards, this means that your draw are going to be less consistent, and then it's really harder to always get the good draws. Which is why I think that, that aggro is not that powerful right now. That being said, let's change and go through mid-range, which I think, in my opinion, that is one of the strongest deck right now. Of course, if you have Freya, I suggest to get Freya because her ability with a banish removes a target and the whole for a whole turn, and you can basically just banish the same target over and over again, and your opponent's playing with one threat less on the board. For example, a Fenrir that grows every turn. Well, you don't care because Fred is going to banish it every turn. And in the late game, you play with 7 mana. And I don't know if you realize, but there's nothing that costs more than 5 mana. Even if you banish every turn, that leaves you with 7 mana. You can even play a lot of cards. Anyway, if you have Freya for the mid-range, I strongly suggest you Freya. If you don't have her, well, let's go with Odin. So, in the mid-range, what you're going to try to do is to outvalue your opponent, like I said. So we're going to have the double charge because charge is so cheap right now. Adding 1 mana to any of your stuff will be really, really powerful. We're going to have the Ensis to bring some control. You may want to use the Ensis to silence, for example, an opponent Fenrir, or something really annoying like an opponent Anhur or stuff like that. But also sometimes you want to deal it with the 2 damage. It really depends. The +1/+1 is not really that great, and that's your only 3 choices, right? With the Omen, they're always this 3 same. You want the Faith, you want the Gunner's Might because it's really good for trading, and you have a lot of health, being 25. Did I miss something? Probably going to add these, but I just want to make sure I don't forget anything before. The Scotties, that's a really powerful Scotty, because Scotty itself is really good on turn 3, but she's also really good on turn 4 because you can play the Caldera at the same time. So she's a really powerful 3-drop and an even better 4-drop because you can play her and the Caldera at the same time. Then you have Soldiers boosting your whole army. You're going to have Fenrir's because you're going to want to place him and just let him grow and one-shot your opponent. And when you want to one-shot with Fenrir because he's going to be like an 8-9 or whatever his health, you want double Fatalis also to go with that. If you want, you can put a Frenzy. But I find that it takes too much mana in the mid-range Frenzy, and so you only have 1 or 2 units on the board at the same time. You're going to have your Loki, of course, your Emirs, which are really powerful with Fatalis and or Charge, and then you can go and curve with Blade Masters. You know, that's playing around Minion Recruiter, right? But still, we only have the Soldiers and the Blade Masters here. So we could add... let me see. There's not much... There's not much we can or we want to add. So yeah. We could play double Blade Masters. Or honestly, these guys are really powerful. There you go. We can play 1 Blade Master. If you don't want to play the Blade Master because you're scared of Minion Recruiter because you only have Soldiers, then you can remove the Blade Master and go with you can go with a Thor. And if you don't like the Soldiers because you want to be full gods, you can change the Soldiers and go with Soul. It's really early game. You can have Wood Soul if you want in double Thor, for example. But you get the point, right? Your early game... Why do I have a Scale Spawn? Yeah, double Thor then. Right? So it's really for you, what you prefer. I really like the Blade Masters. And there you have it. Your early game is getting better cards with reduce mana costs, getting situational cards, some removal, some more removal or power to go face. This is going to bring you a lot of flexibility when you have something on board. Really good 3-drop and 4-drop, really good 3-drop, really good 4-drop, amazing 5-drop, like fucking amazing. That's one of the best card, man. Ymir, so good. He doesn't take return damage, he stunned them, and he's a 3/7, really hard to deal with. Especially if your Valhalla's Blessing gives you an Ymir, it's going to be 4 mana Ymir, and if you have the mana potion, it's going to be a 3 mana Ymir. That's really powerful. And whenever you're missing, you know, the last bit, you can always heal a little bit with Blade Master and or charge it in your face. But like, you know, I think this is one of the really less that I really like. One of the best things here will be probably changing Odin for Freya because she's really better in the mid range. But like I said, this is not going to be bad also playing Odin with that. So I hope that you learned a lot again today, guys, and I hope that you enjoy it. Feel free to leave a like, put a comment. Like to read what are your thoughts and what you want. And have a good day. I'll see you soon.